Welcome back, everybody, to the late night review. And tonight I want to talk about really one of my favorite movies, and a movie that I have nostalgia for. But it's funny too. It's if you went into the video store and looked for it, it would be in the horror section. But actually, I think it's a horror slash comedy. It's got some dark humor in it, and I'm talking about Maniac Cop Part 2. And this, I tell you, this movie, it's good. I think Maniac Cop 1 and 2, you have that rare instant where the sequel is just as good, if not better, than the first one. I think the first one was really good, and there's a definite argument to be made that the first one's still the best. But I actually like the second one, this movie, a little bit better. And essentially, they're kind of the same movie with different changes. I think most people would say that it's a sequel that is definitely worthy of being a sequel. And I think there's a lot of people out there who actually prefer it to the first one. And I'm one of those. I think the first one was really good. And I don't think this movie, part two, is a lot better than the first one, but I think it's better, a little bit better. And I think one of the main reasons for that is because Leo Rossi is in it. And I like Maniac Cop 1. I like Maniac Cop 2. They're both essentially the same movie, same story, same types of events take place, same types of kills. But and there's changes, but one of the bigger changes is the smaller, there's small changes, but one of the bigger changes to the movie is the fact that Leo Rossi is in here, and he plays a serial killer, but it's done in a way where there's dark comedy. He he teams up eventually with Maniac Cop. I think a lot of people have seen this movie, but not a whole lot. So I'm not going to give everything away, but this is almost all my reviews are spoiler reviews. I only hold back on certain videos, I believe, but this one here, he becomes a partner of the Maniac Cop killer. He's a killer too, and they kind of partner up. And there's some dark humor in here. I have to say, Leo Rossi has entertained me for many years. When I was a kid, I started following his movies, his TV shows in the late 80s, like 89, 88, 89. I saw him in some movies when I was really young. I saw him in Heart Like a Wheel. I saw him in The Accused with Jodie Foster and Kelly McGillis. And I saw him in The River's Edge. Keanu Reeves was in there, Dennis Hopper, Chris Crispin Glover, and I have nostalgia for that. It's actually a good movie, definitely worth checking out. So I've been following Leo Rossi's career for many years. I'll tell you this, I've never shared this before on YouTube, but I used to do a ton of editing when I was a kid with Leo Rossi movies. When we had two VCRs, when I was a kid, my parents had two VCRs, and I hooked them up together. And I would record movies when they came on TV and edit them. I would do editing with them. They came on USA Network, TNT, HBO or whatever, Cinemax, whenever we had pay channels. Didn't always have them, but I recorded Leo Rossi movies, and I'd make comedies. Like when he said something funny, I'd have him repeat it like 20 times. I'd mix things up where I would make it funnier than it actually was, where he'd be repeating the word over and over again. And I could talk all night about, just following his career and being really entertained by him and all the editing, all the stuff that I did. He'd say something funny and I'd repeat it over and over again. And he has great facial expressions. He's one of those actors whose facial expressions really stands out and can make you laugh by just expressions. What an actor, what talent he's always had. And he's always been one of my favorites. I waited for him. I'll get back to Maniac Cop 2 in a second. But I waited for him to come on TV. Uh, You're the one she was talking about on TV. When he met Maniac, I just thought about that. When he met Maniac Cop in this movie, he he introduced himself to Maniac Cop because Maniac Cop hardly talks, and Maniac Cop tells him that his name is Cordell, and he says, "Cordell, that's the name she said on TV." And then he started laughing. He's got that personality, and so they partnered up. But I think he liked Maniac Cop more than Maniac Cop liked him. But they become partners nonetheless. Anyway, I used to wait for Rossi's movies or TV shows to come on, and I checked to see what he was. I know he was in an episode of Hunter, I believe. He was in an episode of Peter Gunn. It was either episode or a TV show. He was also in Jan Michael Vincent in a television show. Jan Michael Vincent said, "You're a character, you know that," and he is. And also, he was in an episode of T.J. Hooker with William Shatner. Anyway, I can go down the list of Leo Rossi movies. I couldn't wait to see his new movies, like Fast Getaway. Yeah, those films, and then we're talking Serious Money. Relentless is actually one of the best movies I ever seen. Maybe one day I'll do a video about that one day. Relentless, where he plays a cop, and Robert Loggia is his partner. They're partners, police officers, and they hunt a serial killer down, try to track him down. Played really well by Judd Nelson. It's a good movie, Relentless. And part two is good as well. I enjoyed part three. I thought it was a worthy addition. I thought it was good. But back to Maniac Cop part two. This is, I consider it a dark comedy. Not everyone might agree with me, but my humor is kind of dark. And I think it's a very, very fun movie. It's entertaining. There's scenes in here that are suspenseful. I don't really get scared by horror movies. Like I said in other videos, the only horror movie that ever really scared me as a kid was The Omen, the first three original Omens, and maybe some certain scenes from different horror movies here and there. But yeah, Maniac Cop Part 2, I think it's, it's got scary scenes. It's got some interesting kills. It's got some drama, but primarily to me, it's entertainment. It's entertainment. Certain parts are a little silly. It's funny to me. It's got dark humor, certain lines. I know when Rossi, he plays a character named Stephen Turkel. It's either Turkel or Turkel, but he is in jail later. And he thinks Maniac Cop is probably going to break him out of prison, which he does. This is a spoiler review. He breaks him out of prison, and when he comes into the police station, it's kind of a little like Terminator, where he goes in with a gun and he shoots, police. But he goes in there and he is going to break Rossi out of jail, and then Rossi says, "It must be visiting hours because my friend is back." And then he laughs. He's got that laugh, and that's a funny scene. And then later at the end, because I'm going to give it away, might as well, but later at the end, when they go to prison, that's another thing too. Rossi, he looks funny in the movie too. He's got a big beard. He grew his hair out kind of long. He's got a big bushy beard. And when Maniac Cop breaks him out of jail, they break a couple other guys out of jail. And then Maniac Cop and Rossi, they want to go back to the prison where Maniac Cop was originally supposedly killed, where he was set up and framed by some higher ups. It was politics. And people who were running the city set him up to have him killed because they didn't like him. So they go to that prison, and Maniac Cop wants revenge. He wants to go and make the people pay for what they did to him. So they go back to the prison to kind of Maniac Cop wants to avenge himself, and they go back to the prison in which he was killed. He was sliced up in a really brutal scene in the movie, which is disturbing, and that's one part of the movie that really is disturbing and sad. I felt for him. But anyway, on a funny note, Rossi knows they're going to go back there. In fact, Rossi's going to be driving the truck and he's hitting cop cars, he's hitting other cars. He says, bumper cars or something like that. And then before they go to the prison, he's telling people, he says, oh yeah, we're going to break out all those guys on death row, real likable types. Yeah, that's what we're going to do because we're building an army and we got ourselves a leader. And the way he delivers his lines, I'm doing everything off the cuff here. I've never scripted my videos or anything like that. I just do everything ad lib, but I do have mental notes and I kind of think about what I want to say before I have the videos. But the way he delivers his lines is really funny. I think when you watch the movie, if you check it out, you'll see the humor that I'm talking about. And Leo Rossi is one of those actors where he could play almost anything, probably anything. If he put his mind to it, I know he could play anything. And he's got that humor. He has that humor. I've seen him in serious shows, movies like Relentless. I've seen in The Accused, he played a really bad guy in there. And you can see him in Halloween 2, good old Bud. His sense of humor comes out and you can see his personality. Heart Like a Wheel was a well done movie. Jeff, let's see, it was, I think it was Beau Bridges who was in there. It's been years since I've seen that movie. I believe it was Beau Bridges in there, and Leo Rossi was in there. There's actors, and there's actors in there that you would recognize. And just like in Maniac Cop Part 2, by the way, that was a serious movie, well done movie, drama. But this is based on a true story. But Maniac Cop Part 2, there's actors in here you've seen in other movies, character actors, good cast, supporting actors who do a good job. I think it's really a fun movie, entertaining if you like dark humor, kind of horror/comedies. I think this will fit right in. It's a good sequel, if not better than the first. And check it out. You might like this one. I know I do, and I have some nostalgia for it. Leo Rossi is just a riot. I've always liked him. So check it out. And this has been the Late Night Review. Please like and subscribe and share this video. And good night, everybody.